I'm Judy Struck, and I represent NOFAS South Dakota, which is housed through the Center for Disabilities at the University of South Dakota. I first got interested in fetal alcohol syndrome when I was in early intervention personnel. I had classes in early childhood special education, as it was called at that point in time, that I taught for a large school district in South Dakota. And then during the summer I did home visits with children. And I can remember my interest first getting piqued when I would have a child in my classroom or at a home visit that in their file it said fetal alcohol syndrome. And I really didn't know much about that. This was way back in the early 80s, and I didn't know much about it. I had the opportunity to go to a conference about that point in time and sat in on a presentation about mice studies that were happening at that point in time and the effects of alcohol, and became even more really intrigued and interested and just really alarmed at the effects that alcohol caused on a developing fetus. And so my interest has just grown from that. Being with the Center for Disabilities in South Dakota, it's an entity that's always been involved in doing education and training in the area of fetal alcohol syndrome, even back to the early 80s. We have 2 diagnostic clinics that take a comprehensive approach to the diagnosis of an individual that possibly might have a fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. We have an FAS education strategy handbook that has a variety of strategies that can be used in the classroom and at home that we will distribute at no cost. Then in addition, we do have a parent education class that we teach for 5 months, usually during the winter months when our farmers and ranch families are not quite so busy outdoors. I'm always amazed and impressed with how knowledgeable a lot of the families we work with already are, especially if they've had foster children or have adopted children with FAS. They have really taken it upon themselves to educate themselves and to learn as much as possible in order to help that child as much as possible. So NOFAS for us has been a really nice way of us kind of organizing our efforts within the Center for Disabilities and NOFAS South Dakota to have more of an organized effort to really expand statewide and enhance what we are currently doing. And then the resources through NOFAS are just incredible that we tap into and use and distribute to families and tell families and professionals both about those resources so everyone can benefit from those as well. But one of the things that always just really kind of re-energizes me to continue to try and do more in the area and to continue to expand and develop NOFAS South Dakota is families telling us, we don't know what we would have done without you. We didn't know where to go for help. We didn't know where to go for information, much less to get a diagnosis. Just by coming through your diagnostic clinic, that just really set a lot of things in motion for us that has made our life a lot easier and provided us a lot more information and resources than what we were even aware existed before. So to me, just knowing that what we're doing is helping someone, whether it's a family or an individual, that's the energizing part that makes you want to keep going and keep making a difference in the lives of others. And if a woman is even thinking about getting pregnant, they should not drink during that period of time and the entire time that they're pregnant. But the other part of it that people need to realize is the hope that goes along with that, because there are a lot of things that can help an individual who does have a fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, and it doesn't mean that their life is a throwaway life or they're damaged and they can never be fixed and function in society. With early identification, early intervention, and the right supports in place, that individual can be as productive as possible in society. And so it's not a lost cause, and people need to recognize that it's a prevalent problem, more so than they probably realize, but there's lots of things we can do about that to make it as good of a life for that individual as possible.